So it's August now. It's been about 6 months since I got my tablet back. So this is not the original tablet. This one was replaced because if you watched any of the other videos, you knew that the original one had some massive freezing problems. It would lock up all the time. It was slow. So this one does work a lot better as far as the actual physical operation of the scanner itself. Haven't had any real issues with it. It doesn't freeze anymore. It doesn't artifact. But what I am finding is that this tablet and the program here, it doesn't do all the things it's advertised to do. What I found is it's about 50-50 on whether or not it'll do, certain things. So I mean, I work on a lot of Dodges, Lexuses, Hondas, Jeeps, Chryslers, Chevys, GM, stuff like that. I don't work on Opels or Vedco or whatever. I don't work on a lot of this stuff, but it's frustrating when the scan tool won't even do the most basic things. Like, I got my old handheld iNova that I've had since I worked at Honda, and that'll communicate with pretty much everything. This thing is 50-50 on whether or not it'll talk to anything older than 2005. You're lucky there's a space between 2002 to 2004, depending on what it is. If it's a Dodge, it'll probably talk to it. If it's a Chrysler like my 300, it won't talk to it. Some of the Dodge trucks like the 1500s and 2500s it won't talk to, but it'll talk to like a Dakota. So it's sort of hit and miss. There's a lot of things that won't do that it's advertised to do is what I'm getting at here. So I had a GX 470 in here trying to do a 0-point calibration. It's in here. It's listed on the side of something it can do, but it doesn't do it. I had an 01 Accord in here with a bad brake caliper, and I was trying to bleed the ABS, and it just won't communicate with the you go into the ABS and try to activate it. It won't work. So if I hook HDS up to it, which I have in here, it works just fine. So there's just things that it doesn't do. This is, these guys really focus on your Beamers and your Mercedes and stuff like that. So maybe that's just is what it is. But for the amount of money that you spend on this thing, that I spent on this thing, what I should have just done was bought a micropod and done, weekly or daily subscriptions to YTech, because I don't even, this laptop here has YTech on it, and I find myself running to it more often than I do to this because I know this works. And I also got my old iNova, which will, read codes on pretty much anything. By the time I get this thing hooked up and read an ABS code on like an 01 Accord, like the one I had in the other day, this thing is just sitting there going, loading. It won't decode VINs, older than 2005. You have to go through and manually enter everything. But it's things that it should do. So with all of that being said, extremely disappointed with this. From the very beginning, it was a paperweight. Dealing with their customer service was sort of a pain in the ass. Now, what I can say is one of their guys actually reached out to me after I had advertised my issue on the Autel Scan Tool group, and they actually did offer me a free update for this, which is good because, I wasn't going to pay for it. I'm with my experience, there's no reason for me to justify spending more money to update the tool that didn't work, and their customer service had no intention of doing anything until I basically held their head and said, look. So their guy did reach out to me. I did get a free update, which is good. So I've been using that, but it's sort of disappointing because for the amount of money you pay for this thing, it should work. It should do what it's advertised to do. If you go onto their website and look through the compatibility guide and you see the list of tools and you go in there, you look at something, it should work on the tool. Why would they put it on the compatibility chart if it doesn't work? I don't know. I don't know, but am I going to buy another Autel product in the future? No, not based off of my experience here. What I should have done was, I don't know, hindsight. So in the future, I might try Launch or, try and buy an older out-of-date Snap-on unit, because I know that those work. I know that they try to update things periodically as they have fixes for it, and that's great, but it still doesn't matter if it doesn't work. So that's my story. Enjoy.